Welcome! In this video, we'll go over how to set up and add an announcement banner to your website. The purpose of an announcement banner could be for a variety of reasons. You may want to highlight a specific event on your website, or in the instance of schools, many times you want to announce open enrollment or other types of announcements and events. The first step to setting up a dynamic announcement banner is to go over to the website dashboard. And we're going to click on the navigation menu item called Divi Bars. It's up near the top. And we'll click on Add New. From here, we're going to add in a title. Perhaps in this case, we'll use open enrollment as an example. And the next step is to click on the purple button that says Use the Divi Builder. Once that loads up, what we're going to do is build out the announcement bar. When you're presented with these three choices, build from scratch, choose a pre-made layout, or clone existing page, choose build from scratch. The number of rows that you select, typically it would just be one if you want a straight text. However, if you wanted to add in a button, you might need a different row layout. In this case, we'll just choose the simplest one. Typically, the only module that you'll need is a text module. So we'll scroll down to text and click Insert Text Module. And here is where you would set up the text that you want to appear on your announcement banner. Enrollment is now open for 23. Once you finish typing in your announcement banner text, click on the green check mark and that'll save the text. Now, the main thing we need to do before publishing our announcement banner is set up the colors and the configuration. I'm going to show you a default configuration that works best for most announcement banners. So the first item is going to be to set the text color and also set up padding and margins so that your announcement banner is nicely placed and looks professional. We'll first click on the module settings for the text, and what we can do here is click on design and click on text. Once you've opened up the text tab, you can set the text color. It would be called text color. And I'm going to make my text white because I'm planning to use a brightly colored background for the text. The next important step is to also set the alignment of the text. So scroll down to text alignment, and typically you would want it to be centered. Next, we're going to go to spacing, and for the text spacing, we typically want to put zeros for the margin. That way we don't have extra spacing and padding around the text, which would increase the width and height of the bar. Once you've put all zeros in, and the fast way to put zeros in is also to link these top and bottom and left and right by clicking on the little linking icon so that it replicates what's the value that you've put in for the top. Then click on the green check mark to save changes, and we'll head over to the row. So click on row settings, the little settings icon for the green row. Click on design, and we're going to click on spacing. Now for this one, we're going to do zeros for all the margins, but the padding top and bottom, we'll do something like 10 pixels. And that'll provide a decent amount of space above the text and below the text so that it's not squashed together. The right and left padding are still going to remain 0. Click on the green check mark to save changes, and we'll go over to the section. Click on Design tab, then click on Spacing, and here we're going to put zeros across the board as well. Next, now that we've dealt with the margin and padding, we'll also want to click on the sizing and ensure that section alignment is centered. So click on the center alignment button right here under section alignment and click on the green check mark to save changes. We'll also want to make sure that the row is centered, so we can click again on the settings icon for the row, click on design, click on sizing, and click on row alignment center. We will also want to make an adjustment to the width and the maximum width. So typically for the width we want to put 100%, and the maximum width we want to put at 95% or somewhere around there. The gutter width you can also set to 1. And click on the green check mark. Next, we're going to go back to the section settings and we're going to click on background. And this is where we will set our background color for the entire announcement bar. Make sure you're on the background color tab with the paint bucket and click on the color that you would like to select. These are the main defaults, but you can certainly customize it to any color that you wish, simply by clicking on the eyedropper tool to open up the color palette and then drag and around the color palette to find the color that you wish to use. You can also, in this box, highlight the hex code for the color and type in the hex code manually, or copy and paste if you have a specific color in mind. I'm going to, for the purposes of this example, make my announcement banner purple. I'll then click on the green check mark to save changes, and we've just got a few steps left. One step is going to be to click on the module settings for the text, and we want to make sure that the announcement banner gets linked. So you can actually link it in a couple of different places. You could choose to link the text, and that would be under text settings link, and you could paste in the URL that you wish to link it to here, or use a dynamic link to link to a page link on your actual website. For instance, in this case I would click apply now for the page, click on the green check mark, and it will automatically link people over to the apply now page on your website. Click on the green check mark for that module. You can also link the entire announcement banner by going to section settings and clicking on link, and in this case we can use dynamic content, so click on the dynamic content icon, click on page link, and then link over to the apply now page, or whichever page fits the parameters of your project. Click on the green check mark to save changes, and again for the section settings, and now the announcement banner has been set up. There's just a couple of other settings that we can configure, and that should take no more than a couple of minutes. We're going to want to scroll down to view these sidebar settings for the announcement banner. Now, display locations, you can certainly display this announcement banner on all posts and pages, but there may be some instances where you want to only display it on specific pages, or simply display it on all pages and then add exceptions. So if you wanted to show this announcement banner on all pages except the apply now, then you can type on the name of the page that you wish to be the exception. You can also add it just to specific pages, for instance, the home page. We typically don't use categories for this or tags, so you can ignore those. And for the additional settings, the position is typically at the top, unless you wish to have an announcement banner at the bottom of your web page. Push the page up and down is a good setting to leave checked. And you have other items here that are typically not used, but you can certainly explore those. The close button customizations. Typically on an announcement banner, you won't need to customize the close button, but you may want to use a close button cookie. What this does is it stores a cookie in the user's browser. If they click the close button on the announcement banner and you have it set for 13 days, then that particular browser on that device will remember not to show the announcement banner for 13 days after the person has closed it. However, this only applies, number one, if the person is using the same browser as they accessed the website with before, and number two, if you actually have one. You can leave this at 0 so that the announcement banner pops up every time for every user, regardless if they close it or not. Now, announcement banners are much less intrusive than pop-ups, so it's okay to leave this at 0 days. Probably one of the more important settings here is the automatic trigger. For announcement banners, we typically set a time delay for 1 second. This helps draw a bit more attention to the announcement banner when the page loads and then the announcement banner pops up versus just loading as a static part of the website. Display once per page load is good. You can disable on mobile, tablet, or desktop if you wish, and you also have the ability to set scheduling. This is helpful in many cases if you have an announcement that is related to an event that will take place at a certain date. Of course, then you can set the end date to whenever that event occurs so that you don't have to go back and remember to remove the announcement banner after the event is over. You have the option to put in specific dates and times for the end date and start date as well. In the case of open enrollment, you could say your enrollment starts on this and that day and ends on a specific day, again, so that you don't have to remember to take it down once open enrollment is closed. The final step is just going to be to click on the publish button and then go and review your announcement banner to make sure that it shows up correctly. To view it live on the site, we can simply right-click on the name of the school in the upper left-hand corner and open link in new tab, or just open up a new browser tab and go to our website. Now you can see up here we've got a nice purple announcement banner that it is saying enrollment is now open for the 2023-2024 school year. And the link is also active, so if we click on the announcement banner, it will go to the Apply Now page that we previously linked to. That's all there is to updating and adding an announcement banner to your website.